Hey, this is Joe Crump. I've got a property for sale that I think you might be interested in. Let me show you first the picture. These are two 4-unit duplex buildings, brick buildings. They're older, they're built in the 70s. You can look them up on Zillow to check them out. But they're good condition, they're filled properties. They've got a few little minor things. I'm going to show you some more pictures as we go here. But let me show you the numbers first, and then we'll come back and look at the pictures. It's in Hamilton, Ohio. The sale price is $275, and that's for both buildings. The down payment can be between $30,000 and $45,000 required. $30,000 is the minimum, but $45,000 is the actual down payment. So we'll finance $15,000 of it for you if you need us to. We prefer to take someone who's got the full $45,000. So if you're making an offer, that's what we'd like, but we will do it for $30,000 down if that's what you've got. It's available on a land contract. You don't need to go through bank qualifying. We can close this thing in 2 weeks. It's an easy slam dunk deal, and it's got a good return on investment. When you look at the numbers, it's a 38% return on your investment, so pretty cool. The monthly cash flow after the costs is $1,430 a month, so you got great income on this property. It's fully occupied right now, and it's got a long-time manager in place. They tell us that it rents up very quickly when it's filled. We've never worked with this particular manager. This is an investment property. It's not in my portfolio. It's not my property manager. It's someone else. But they seem like they know what they're talking about. They've been doing it for a long time. Physically, it's in pretty good condition. It's older. It's got some older functions. They repair things. They don't put in new things. But the roof is newer. The heating system is a boiler system, but it's not been replaced. It's not new, but it's in pretty good condition. Plumbing works. The exterior is in good shape. It hasn't leaked. I'll show you some pictures, and I'll give you a feel for what might be necessary on the thing as time passes. But right now it's got people in it. It's occupied, and it's making money. It has rent of $525 per unit. There's 8 different units, so it brings in a gross per year income of $50,400, and the expenses are, the taxes are $23.23 per building per year, so $46.46 per building. Insurance is $1,100 per year per building, so $2,200 on that. Management, this is pretty cheap, so $270 per building per month, which is $32.40. If you're paying another property manager, if you got somebody else in place for this, keep this in mind, because that would go up. It's usually about 10% of the gross rents. So this is a better deal than what's normally out there. And we think that the manager wants to stay in place, so we think that this will stay solid. But if you have to get a new manager in the future, you're probably paying a little bit more than this. The heat and water is paid by the owner. It's $4,200 per building per year, so $8,400 annually is what it's been running. And these expenses do not include possible repairs to the property and vacancies. As I said, the repairs are being done as needed by the manager, and the vacancies are pretty low based on what they're telling us. Again, these are not my properties. I don't have personal records on them, but this is what it looks like, and it sounds like they're being honest with us. The income before debt service is $31,914. So $50,400 minus these expenses is $31,914. Now let's look at the debt service on the land contract. But first, let's talk about the down payment. You can finance $15,000 of the $45,000 down payment as a promissory note that's separate from the land contract. It's an interest-free loan of $1,000 per month for 15 months. So you don't have to pay interest on it, but you do have to pay monthly for 15 months. We prefer to have the entire down payment of $45,000 up front, but we're going to accept offers that do it this way. And by the way, we're going to accept offers of $45,000 over ones that ask to finance part of it. But again, we're willing to take $30,000 up front and create a personal note for the remaining $15,000 to be paid out over a period of 15 months. Now, if you do it this way, your income on the property is going to be nearly used up during the time you're paying that 15 months. If you pay the entire $45,000 as a down payment, you'll have substantially more immediate cash flow for the property. Now let me break all this down for you. The land contract terms will cover the remaining $230,000 of the purchase price. So it's $275 minus the $45,000 down payment, leaving $230,000 for the land contract. By using a land contract, you don't have to go through the process of bank financing. We do, however, want to know that you can make the payments and would ask you to document that for us in some way. And we can discuss that if you know that you have the money to make these payments and cover these costs. Here's how the financing for the land contracts break down. This payment is just principal and interest. The costs above show the other expenses for the property. The principal amount to be financed, $230,000. It's a 30-year amortized loan at 5% interest. There's no balloon payment on here. You can pay it for 30 years and pay it off that way, or you can pay it in advance. There's no prepayment penalty. The monthly payments are $1,230 a month. That's principal and interest on a 30-year note. You can do the calculations. It's right at that, but this is an estimate. The title company will be the one that does the calculation. So the annual principal and interest on this is $1,230 times 12, which is $14,760. Again, no prepayment penalty, and this loan is not assignable, so if you buy it, you can't assign it to somebody else and make the payments for somebody else. You'd have to sell it outright if you decide that you want to pay it off. If you take the income from above, the gross income for all the units occupied is $50,400, less the expenses as I defined them above, taxes, insurance, and property management, those types of things, heating and water. That's $18,486. So you subtract that number plus the debt service from the $50,000, and you get net income after the debt service of $17,154. If you divide the income by your initial investment, you get a return on investment of, and here's how it breaks down, $17,154 divided by the $45,000 down payment. That equals a 38.12% return on investment. So pretty awesome. This is what seller financing does for your return on investment. It knocks it through the roof. Now, if you finance part of the down payment, it's still a pretty good return. If you finance $15,000 of the $45,000 down payment, here's how it pencils out for the first 15 months that you own it. Your additional cost, if you finance your down payment, is $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. So your net income after paying that additional cost is $5,154 per year for the first 15 months. After it's paid off, your income goes back up to the 38%. So the return on your investment over the 15 years, first 15 months of this scenario is $17,154 net income minus the $12,000 to cover the borrowed down payment. So your net income is $51,54 if you finance your down payment. So if you divide the income of $51,54 by the $30,000 down that you have to come up with, that gives you a 17.18% return on investment for the first 15 months. Then it goes up to, I think I've got this figure wrong. I just stopped it there for a second because I did have it wrong. It should be based on your $30,000 down because that's what you're initially putting up. So your return would be $17,154, that net income divided by your 30% down. So it would go up to 57.18% return on your investment if after the first 15 months. So essentially what you're doing is you've got that 17% return on investment during the 15-month, and then it jumps up to 57% after that. And somebody with better math skills than I would have to figure out what the overall return on investment over the 30 years is. But suffice it to say, it's looking pretty good. And remember, keep in mind that this doesn't include vacancies. It doesn't include future repairs that are going to be necessary on this property. And I'm going to show you some pictures of the property in a minute so you can get a feel for the condition of the property, because it's not perfect. It's older. It's got some issues. And some of those things are going to be dealt with before you get it. But most of them are just going to be dealing with an older property. It's going to have to be repaired over time, which is normal for this type of thing. So if you'd like to move forward with this deal, please send me an email. Since this is one of the best deals I've sent out this year, I expect that it's going to sell pretty quickly. I'll take the first person who tells me they want it and that they understand how the deal works and that they have the deposit to close. There's a $2,000 non-refundable, and it's non-refundable if you back out, not if we're unable to close. A $2,000 non-refundable deposit that you would need to wire us within 24 hours. The purchase agreement is not valid until we receive the deposit funds in our business account. And if we don't get it back from you, then we feel the right to go ahead and sell it to someone else. You'll also have 10 days to do your due diligence and any inspections you'd like to do. You'll be buying this property in as-is condition. So if you decide within the first 10 days that the condition is not acceptable, we won't fix the property or won't do the work to the property, but you have the right to back out of the deal and get your deposit back. We're going to schedule the closing to be within 2 weeks of signing the purchase agreement. The closing will be done at a title company, and the land contract will be recorded. You'll also get title insurance, so this is all on the table, above board, at a title company. You do not need to be present at the closing. We won't be there either. It's in Ohio. We're in Indiana. You're wherever you're at. It can all be done remotely. You can wire the funds in. The title company is going to handle everything. It'll be overseen by a title company or an attorney. Your closing costs should be about $2,000 per building, so add that to your costs. That'll reduce your profits a little bit. I didn't put this into later. The property is not from my portfolio. It's a property that came to us through another investor. We're selling this property and making a profit. I've never been to this property. I don't personally know the manager, but I'll get you in touch with him if you'd like to speak with him. I will only do this for the person who gets the winning bid. We don't want to make him talk to a ton of people. If you don't like what you hear after talking to him, as long as you do it within 48 hours, I'll give you back your deposit. So I want to make sure that you're happy with it, but I don't want to jump through a bunch of hoops for people that are just looking. So, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be harsh. I'm just trying to get the deal done and make it happen for the person who's most motivated to want to buy this property. I think this is a pretty amazing multifamily deal. It's seller financed. You don't have to go through a bank. If everything fell apart on you at some point in the future, you could probably give it back to the seller without too much of a headache. If you're interested, send me an email. Send it to Joe Crump at joecrump.com, or call my line and leave me a message, 317-598-1220. Make sure to tell me in the message that you want to do it, if that's the case. If you have more questions about it, I'm happy to answer them, but I have a feeling that it's going to be sold before I'm able to get back with you and answer those questions. And I'm going to do this on a first-come, first-served basis. So that's it. That's the property. Let's take a look at the pictures of the property now. And you can nothing ever looks good in the snow, but these are the two buildings, and I'm going to get some close-ups so you can see what's going on with some of the condition of the property. In the back, you can see the soffit is coming down. They just haven't been able to repair this because this happened during the winter, and it's pretty cold out there. So the seller has promised that he's going to fix this issue for us. Here's a close-up of that. You can see there's a downspout gone. I don't think he's promised to fix that. And by the way, these are separate meters for the building. I do not believe they're separate meters for the units. So you're still paying the heat and the water for these buildings. You can see that this downspout is not connected. Again, it's been winter in the Midwest, and it's been pretty miserable here. This would look a lot nicer if there were plants in front of it. Hey, a cat. Looks like Gizmo, actually. That's my cat. It's not my cat. It looks like my cat. Lovely laundry room. This is the boiler system in one of the buildings, and there's one similar to it in the other one. As you can tell, it's old, but they keep it running. And I'm going through these kind of fast, but you can feel free to pause the video at any point and take a look at them if you want. Here's the other boiler. Water heaters. Water heaters are reasonably new. Roof is reasonably new. The heating, by the way, is propane. Strike that. I don't think it's propane. I think that it's regular gas connected to the gas system. We have another property that's out in the country that we're working on that is propane. We're told that the roof is within the last 4 or 5 years. The plumbing and sewer is functioning properly. Hot water tanks have been replaced in the last 2 years. So those are the pictures. Alrighty, hope you like it, and if you're interested, send me an email or give me a call and let me know, and we'll make it happen. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.